There are about 1.4 billion cars on the planet right now, and roughly a third of them are on the wrong side of the road. Not wrong like illegal, wrong like depending on where you were born, the side you've driven your whole life is the side that half the world would consider a death wish. Here's what's strange about that. It's not geography, it's not logic, it's not even safety. The reason the world is split down the middle on something this fundamental traces back to a dead Roman emperor, a French revolutionary, a Scottish engineer, and one very specific rule Napoleon had about how he liked to pass people on a road. Stay with me, because this goes somewhere you won't expect. Before any of this mattered, there was a problem. You're a Roman soldier marching your legion across Europe. You're carrying a shield on your left arm because that's where you keep it always, ready to block an attack from an oncoming enemy. Your sword is on your right. So when you pass a stranger coming the other way, which side do you keep them on? Your left. Because your shield is there. Because instinct says, keep the threat where your defense is. In 2009, archaeologists excavating a Roman quarry site in Swindon, England, found grooves worn deeper into the left side of the outbound lane than the return lane, caused by heavily loaded carts consistently leaving on the same side. Direct physical evidence. The Romans drove on the left. And for centuries after Rome collapsed, that habit stuck. Medieval Europe kept left. Knights on horseback kept their sword arm free toward oncoming riders. Pilgrims kept left. Merchants kept left. Left wasn't a rule, it was just what people did. But then something changed, and it changed because of something completely mundane. It's the 1700s. France is covered in enormous wagons, hauling goods across the country. These things are massive, 4 to 6 horses pulling them, and here's the detail that matters. There's no driver's seat. The driver sits on the rear left horse, because from there he can use his right hand to whip all the other horses in the team. Now, if you're sitting on the left side of the wagon, and you want to make sure your wheels don't clip the wagon coming the other way, you keep that other wagon on your left side, where you can see it, which means you naturally drift to the right side of the road. The French wagons started keeping right, not because of a law, not because of philosophy, because of where a man sat to crack a whip. And here's where it gets complicated. France in the 1700s isn't just France, it's a country about to be torn apart. Before the revolution, French aristocrats deliberately walked on the left side of the road. It was a status symbol. It forced peasants to scramble out of their way. Then 1789 happened, the revolution. And overnight, keeping right became political. Walking on the right side of the road was an act of equality. It was the side the workers had always been pushed to. Reclaiming it was a statement. Keep right became Republican. Keep left became Royalist. In some accounts, aristocrats who didn't switch sides fast enough were risking more than embarrassment. And then, Napoleon took that revolutionary habit and exported it across a continent. Everywhere his armies went, they drove on the right. Every country he conquered, right side. Every ally who didn't want trouble, right side. The countries that resisted Napoleon, or were too powerful for him to touch, kept left. Britain, Portugal, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This is the exact moment the world split. Not gradually, not logically. In the wake of one man's military campaigns. Now America. You might assume America drives on the right because of British influence. After all, the colonies were British. But that's exactly backwards. The American colonies were already trending right before independence, for the exact same reason as France. The vehicle doing most of that work had a name, the Conestoga wagon, built in Pennsylvania. Dominated American roads through the 1700s. No driver's box. Driver rides the left rear horse or walks alongside on the left. To see oncoming traffic clearly, you drift right. By the time America declared independence in 1776, keeping right was already the norm in the North. And in 1792, Pennsylvania officially became the first place in the world to legislate it, the first formal keep right law in history. Then, interestingly, the French revolutionary spirit arrived, and Americans, fresh from their own revolution, found keep right politically resonant too. Right wasn't just a direction, it had become an idea. Canada, meanwhile, was complicated. Being British, parts of it kept left. But being geographically attached to the United States, trade won eventually. By the 1920s, most of Canada had flipped right. But Britain is the big question. It had the same roads, the same horses, so why did it stay left? Partly because of one man, John Loudon McAdam. In the early 1800s, McAdam basically invented modern road services. Before him, roads were muddy disasters. After him, Britain had the best road network in the world, and British roads, being excellent, were already packed with stagecoaches. Stagecoaches had a driver's box up front on the right side of the seat. From there, the driver used his right hand to whip and kept oncoming traffic on his right, which meant staying left. The seated driver meant a completely different geometry to the riding driver. Britain's roads were built around stagecoaches. America's roads were built around freight wagons. The vehicles themselves encoded the direction, and then Napoleon came along, and Britain had every political reason to do the opposite of whatever France was doing, so left it stayed. Through the 1800s and into the 1900s, the world gradually consolidated. Most of continental Europe was right. The British Empire, including India, Australia, South Africa, East Africa, was left. Then cars arrived, and suddenly the stakes got much higher. With horses, a wrong side encounter was awkward. With cars at 50 miles per hour, it was a fatality. Countries started seriously thinking about standardizing. Sweden drove on the left until 1967. On September 3rd, 1967, a Sunday, chosen deliberately for lower traffic, Sweden switched the entire country at once. They called it H-Day. H for högertrafik, meaning right-hand traffic. The government had spent years preparing. New road signs, 360,000 of them, repainted lanes, rebuilt intersections. Buses were the nightmare. Sweden's buses had doors on the left for left-side traffic. Overnight, those doors opened onto oncoming vehicles. New buses had to be ordered. It cost the equivalent of hundreds of millions in today's money. And after all that, the accident rate in the first year actually dropped because everyone was paying attention. Everyone was scared. Fear, it turns out, is an excellent road safety tool. Today, 35% of the world's population drives on the left. 65% drives on the right. These are mostly former British colonies. The empire may have collapsed, but the road rules stayed. Japan is the interesting outlier. Japan was never colonized, but it drives on the left. The samurai explanation is exactly what you'd expect. Sword on the left hip, passing strangers on the left to avoid accidental draws, and it held. When Japan modernized in the Meiji era and built railways, they hired British engineers. British engineers built British-style railways. Left side. When cars arrived, Japan kept the same side as its railways. One empire's engineering choices exported and never undone. Here's a detail that quietly bends your brain. There are places in the world where you cross a border and the side of the road switches. Mozambique drives on the left, Tanzania drives on the right. The border crossing between them requires every driver to physically change lanes at the border. There's a crossing in East Africa where there's a bridge. One end, keep left. The other end, keep right. In the middle of the bridge, you switch. Imagine driving that for the first time. No instinct prepares you for it. China borders more countries than any nation on Earth. Several of its neighbors drive on the left. The border infrastructure required is extraordinary. So here's what we actually have. The reason a third of the world drives on the left is Roman shields, medieval knights, and British stagecoaches. The reason 2/3 drives on the right is French freight wagons, a revolutionary political symbol, and one very specific opinion Napoleon had about passing people on roads. No committee decided this. No international body voted on it. The planet just drifted into two camps based on what kind of vehicle was most common in your country in the 1700s, and whether or not a short Frenchman conquered you. And now we're mostly stuck with it. Switching an entire country's road infrastructure costs billions. It requires years of planning, new signs, new vehicles, public re-education campaigns. The psychological cost alone is staggering. You're asking people to rewire instincts they've had since they first learned to drive. Sweden did it. Myanmar tried in 2012 with almost no preparation, and the results were not Sweden. So the divide stays. A relic of Roman soldiers and revolutionary politics, and the exact height of a wagon driver's seat carved permanently into the asphalt of the modern world. Every time you pull out of your driveway, you're following a rule that nobody designed, nobody chose, and nobody can easily change. You're just going the way that history pointed. If you're curious about the hidden reasons the world works the way it does, you've found the right place. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like and subscribe to Curiously Found. It only gets stranger from here.